Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Weird Angle. We're trying a whole bunch of new things, weird things on the channel recently, and let me know if you're liking them, if you're hating them. Honestly, I don't even know if this video is going to ever see the light of day. But I thought I would make it, and then if people actually do want to see it, I can put it out there. Today we are going to do a shelf reset and a shelf tour. So I'm going to go pop on a record and I will time lapse me taking apart my bookshelf, cleaning it, and putting the books back in a new order, and then we can go on a little shelf tour afterwards. So let's go do that. Okay, now that we have cleared off the bookshelves and played in the books for kittens, we need to switch over our records and start putting books back on shelves. This is the hardest part for me because I currently have them sectioned off by genre, kind of. So we have all of Alexandra Bracken's works there, next to Star Wars, next to Julia Quinn and Allie Hazelwood, and our hockey romances. But then when I put them on the shelves, it's just about vibe and what works. And please ignore the plant that I'm trying to save. I don't know why it's dying. But I will go switch over records and then we'll get back to it. Hello everybody! We are almost exactly a week after we started this video of a shelf tour / cleaning the shelves. I started this last Sunday at 8 p.m. and after I got everything back up, it was time to make dinner and then get ready for the week. So let's look at the shelves. We'll start with this section of shelves. These are what you guys see the most in the background of the videos. Hi, Nike girl. I sort by vibes. So I also like to keep favorites center and top shelf, and then it kind of goes outward and down. So some things are pretty similar. Percy Jackson is always going to be top row with the second series, second row. Magnus Chase series always kind of bops around depending on where I'm feeling it. And then sometimes we're doing things based on what books will fit. So here we have a Rick Riordan that I recently read that is 5 stars. That is actually part of my traveling book club. I need to send this to my friend Kelsey. But I couldn't fit another Magnus book here, so we have another Rick Riordan. If we go down to just finish off this line, we have the I Am Number 4 series. And this goes into this section that Nike is hiding from you all. And we have one of my favorite duologies of all time that is sadly on the bottom shelf because I just couldn't fit it anywhere else with the vibes. And that is The Expectant Detectives and Dead Tired. If you've seen some of my other videos, you guys know that these are like top tier books for me. On this shelf, we have Percy Jackson, and then I kept it kind of as a transition box. So we have still like funny Percy Jackson vibes, but we also have contemporary romance, and we kind of have like an archaeology vibe here. And then moving up, we have our Star Wars shelf because in this household, we are nerds. So we have our Lord of the Rings, we have our Firefly books, we have Star Wars, and this transitions smoothly into our Alexandra Bracken shelf because Miss Alexandra Bracken wrote a Star Wars novel. How cool! How cool! Scooting right along, we have Alexandra Bracken, and there are no other words. She is all-time favorite author. What more to say? We come down to the Hunger Games books, another all-time favorite author and all-time favorite series. And I use this as a little bit of a transition square. So everything on here is YA, but we have YA, dystopian, and then we pivot almost 180 in my mind to YA romance and cat fights. Moving down, we have my Andy Weir books. I'm hoping to read Project Hail Mary here shortly. I think the movie is coming out sometime in March. So I would love if I could read that and then go see the movie as like a date night maybe. Then we have another like transition where we have Madeline Miller books and then some contemporary romance and then a historical romance. And the historical romance leads right into other historical romances that take place in, I think these are actually, yes, both from Ireland. And then we have Ireland, or no, then we have Scotland contemporary romance, Ireland contemporary romance, and then basically like Ohio contemporary romance. Emily Henry is from Cincinnati, so that is so funny because sometimes in her books, I feel like some of her street names, I don't know if you guys could see, are Nike, but she just zoomed by. But sometimes her street names are actual street names in Cincinnati, and it's like a little Easter egg for me to find. I don't have her newest book. I started the series in paperback, so now I have pigeonholed myself into waiting a year after the newest release for Emily Henry. And then we just have another contemporary romance. This is actually one that I just finished reading that Matt picked out for me on our honeymoon. Over here, romance. They're all just romances, and it's lovely. And this shelf starts one of the several Julia Quinn shelves. So we have the prequels, and then we start the Bridgerton series. Moving up a shelf, we have Allie Hazelwood. She almost has a full square to herself, with the one exception of this Cherry Blossom bookshop. That is not a romance, but it was such an amazing read. It needed to be on this shelf somewhere, and it fit very perfectly. And it's also a nice pastel-y color as well. Is pastel-y a word? It is now. Continuing on, we have a little bit of neuroscience romance. I wanted to keep this one close to Allie Hazelwood. And then we have hockey. We have our hockey romances because I'm a hockey romance girly. And we're going to continue going this way and then we'll loop around because we have more hockey romance. followed by some sports romance, and then we get into some historical rom that is not Julia Quinn, but below both of these actually, all Julia Quinns. I think I have almost another cat Zumi. I think I have almost every single Julia Quinn book that has been published to date. I might be missing like one. On the bottom, we have our last couple of Julia Quinns. I'm not even sure if you can see this angle, but just know there are Julia Quinns down here. And then some contemporary roms. And then we have another YA shelf of YA funny roms. If you ever watched My Lady Jane, this is the book that it's based off of, and these are the rest of the books in the series. And then we have some more nerdy stuff. We have Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now we're going to move over to another bookshelf, so see you there. On this bookshelf, this is kind of the other part of the books that you guys normally see. And I feel like these are the shelves that probably had some of the biggest updates in this rearrange. We have our beautiful graphic novels, Lore Olympus. And then we have a wedding present from my friend Victoria, The Arabian Nights, which is an absolutely stunning book. We have a book that I actually DNF'd, but I am not to the point of getting it off my shelf yet. And then we go into like some mysteries. And then we move down and we have a couple of romances. We have some Jane Austens, some Jane Austen inspired books. And then we move down to what I lovingly call my like teenage years or my tween years. We have the Divergent series, and then we have the City of Bones. This series, this crazy series, which if you don't want to read them, but you want to know everything about them, go check out Carrie Can Read. She's done wonderful breakdown videos of these books. Truly top tier. When I'm feeling reminiscent about the series, I just go watch Carrie's breakdown and I go, ah, oh, yes, the chaos. This is what I needed. But that is the main blah, 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 blah. But that is the main bookshelves that you guys mostly see. Let's pop into the dining room for our other bookshelves. All right, welcome to the dining room bookshelves. These ones are a little less organized, in my opinion. When we get in here, we're getting to kind of more of like, where can I get these to fit with the right vibes? So we have some miscellaneous books, including some map books. We have some like either school or like biographies, and then more kind of like miscellaneous college books that I still find interesting and I would keep on my shelf for people to borrow. And then we have up front, these are all contemporary romances, except for these guys. These are romantasy. And no, I have not read every single one of these books yet. I kind of wanted to do like contemporary fading into kind of magical. And then this is by the same author, so magical into romantasy. And I'll introduce you to some of my bits and bops. I got this guy while visiting Chicago to cheer on some friends in the Chicago Marathon. This is Strawberry Space Gem. And then I won this from Hannah Grace for her Christmas novel. And then in Ireland, when we were there this past November, Matt got me this little sheep and I named him Feck. And then in Scotland, Matt got me this cute little dangle. He actually lives on my purses when I have purses. I should have put him on this outfit today, just on my jeans. He would have been really cute. And his name is Angus. A shelf down, we're at kind of like new books that I've bought, plus kind of just vibes. We have our Victoria Aveyard section, some romances that were great, but still weren't my like 5-star, needed to be in the front room. And then we have some like spacey things. The Stars Too Fondly is probably a 5-star for me. Loved this book, but he didn't fit on the other bookshelf, so he lives here. And that's the shelf. Let's go on to the next one. There's so many shelves. Okay, we are almost to the end of the shelf tour. We have some books that I am not getting rid of, but have had for a very long time, if you catch my drift. We will not be talking about those books. We have Romantasy. We have some books that were gifts, some that I haven't read yet, some that were just too scary for me, I'm not gonna lie. And then up front, we have some more YA romance. This is just our little Lee Bardugo section into just more books that don't have a set home. These books are very fluid on where they live, depending on when we organize the bookshelf and what vibes they fit with. We also have our Switch games back here and books that I have been borrowing from my friend Victoria. I think I've had them on my shelf for like a year now. I need to get to reading them. And then we have this very cute little book nook that Matt and I did together. And now we're back in the living room. I hope you enjoyed watching me clean and organize the bookshelves. And I hope you enjoyed the shelf tour. Let me know if you saw some books that you are interested in or that you've maybe read. I'd love to start a conversation about it. So until next week, bye.